What's up guys, this is Shana and today we're gonna check out Lavile in Cheras. Let's go! We are back here again in Cheras and today will be another collaboration with one of the audience of the channel, and this is a location that we are pretty familiar because we just visited Sunway Velocity 2, the upcoming one going to be completed, and this is a road branch away from the main road, so right opposite at the end you will have the Sunway Velocity mall already, and that connects to one of the LRT station. Right next to the project, in between these two blocks, there's one piece of land that is very controversial right now. Also right in front will be the SK Yakov Lavile School. And let's go check out the unit. So coming in from the road, there will be a main drop off here. And this will be a commercial area. Coming in from the entrance, we can see two checkpoints before the actual lift lobby. And the lift lobby looks grand. Just like the waiting area which is in front of the security checkpoint. That kind of gives some assurance because outside is actually open area where visitors can actually come in. And in first glance, this lift lobby looks really nice. So for the floor plate design in a block, right, there will be 9 units for this block itself, serviced by 3 passenger lift, 1 service lift, and this will be separated by a fire door. So when we are here, there will be this weird little corner here with the intention of introducing more daylight into the lobby. And this will be the connection point joint to the other block. So just in case of emergency, right, this fire door will be released and people can actually evacuate. So you will have the stone textured tiles, and this is the effect. This is the wall of another unit. And just imagine if they were to just close it but leave it as a void, it would not be as bright. A lot of projects that are due for handover within this period is really awkward because all this construction works went through the entire pandemic, went through the entire lockdown process where cost skyrocketed, the labor were really limited, they cannot conduct works on site, so everything got a rush. Buyers are not happy because the handover got delayed. Imagine people waiting for the house to get married, right? Now the baby is born, the house is not even ready yet. So a lot of handover within this period will be kind of dramatic somewhat. You can see the spray paints for all external walls. Specification wise, nice, just that because they had to rush the handover, so you can see that the cleanings are not done well. There are secret butts around. Common areas will not be the main focus when you are rushing to handover. But design wise, the width from wall to wall here is 2.45, height is 2.9. Very comfortable for only 9 units of residence. And see the color schemes, pretty cool. Right, the panel also very nice. Then coming out through the fire door, the corridors are awesome. The width is 2.4, the height is 2.8, which is pretty luxurious. This will be the refuse area, and this is weird. You need to go through all this just to access the refuse room. Well, it's easier because it's the only room that's attached to the facade line. And this will be the unit that we're gonna check out today. Corner one. And the benefit of having this unit, indirectly this kind of belongs to you. So going into the unit, this will be a foyer space and the width is around 1.2 meters. Then there's a debate for this design intent. I appreciate that there will be a foyer here, but this structural wall, this is going to be a pain whenever I move or deliver furniture. Seriously, it's going to be so difficult to just move things through this narrow tunnel. And going in, this will be the unit where the dining, the living, the balcony, up at the side will be the kitchen. So the unit that we're going to check out today will be type C6, 1060 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. And when you come in via the foyer,
There will be a kitchen at the side, the dining, the living, then the balcony. And this will be the private areas where you have the principal bedroom, 2 bedrooms here sharing 1 common bath, and there will be an attached ensuite bathroom. There will be a yard here along with the utility space and the aircon latch, rather direct. And if you can see, this will be the entire layout. So it's pretty high dense.
We have around 1,200 units within a land that is 3.4 acres around there, plus 30 over units of retail downstairs. So if it's busy, it's going to be really busy, because if you look into the macro of the entire site, right, it's packed. Combo that with the busy traffic, you combo that with the school, very narrow access. Yeah, so that's Cheras for you, lor. The way from wall to wall here is 3.2 meters, the height is 3.1, and overlooking to the balcony, you can see my town, you can see TRX Tower. So that's one of the main attractions for this location. But this will be Sunway's development with the corporate office, and this is Yuna, and right in front will be the school. What we can see right now will be the actual live action of what's going to happen around the street during school hours. Then for the external walls, you have spray paints, you have glass and steel handrails. This balcony is very nice but in an odd shape. And when you open out, right, I personally think that this is one of the better views that you get because you're facing the field, provided there won't be any relocation of the school in the future. But this is the weird thing, like this is a pretty dramatic project for now because of the adjacent project, and that's the main learning point for this entire video. When we see master plan development, sometimes everywhere also master plan development, everywhere also township development, like everybody has this bank of lands to develop, right? Not necessarily true. Like this is an individual pocket land development where they just got in this plot and they have absolutely no control over what's adjacent. Whether it can be a road, it can be anything. So for the neighbouring land, it's supposed to be a road when this was sold. So when this project was being marketed to the public, then when you get bookings and all, everyone bought this project with the expectation of the neighbouring lot being a road. But suddenly that land got transacted to a different developer and construction took place. Everyone here signed a petition and go against them on court or whatsoever. So now there won't be any more development, but damage has been done. If you look into the site, it's now left like ruins. There are units that are actually facing that particular orientation and they are suffering mosquitoes right now. Because rainy season here, very sad. Listen to this kind of stories. Like, that's why you've got to be really, really informed when you make the decision. There's no other ways around it, because you can blame as much as you want, you can sue people as much as you want, but your hard-earned money as an investor to a unit that you are supposed to live in now face a ditch hole filled with water and mosquito. Anyway, let's do a sound check a little bit. Well, that's nice. You can no longer hear the kids from the school and cannot hear the construction noise anymore. And they are tinted in a darker tone, so it controls the heat a little bit. You have floor tiles, tile skirting, and this is the exact connection from the developer where air cons are provided. You will have this smart panel here that connects to the security counter. And right at the corner, this will be the kitchen space. This space then is a pretty narrow one where you have 1.3 meters of width only. This will be the location for your fridge. These are provided by the developer. You have a 3-burner by Tika, hook and hop backsplash, and you have this basin here by Tika as well. Cabinets all provided along with the microwave oven. And I like this little window here that connects you outwards to the yard space. So if you're really serious about cooking, right, I guess there are still some space here to put in your wet kitchen, because this yard is pretty spacious in comparison to the kitchen. I don't understand why the yard space is bigger than the kitchen. Maybe that's the intent for you to put a wet kitchen here. It comes with a +1 utility room that can also be a storage space if you want to. Moving on, this will be the corridor into the room. You have Johnson suites for basin and WC, full height wall tiles, shower screen, a window for ventilation, pretty complete just there. The wall to wall width is 1.25 meters. Then next to that you will have the first bedroom here. The good thing about the designs for the units here is there's no unit facing the void. All units gets external facade line, but the view is questionable. So you just imagine those are all ready. Ooh. So this room here is 2.5 by 2.8 meters in width, and it looks okay because all bedrooms get external facade line, just because this is a corner unit, and that makes a lot of difference. Usually when we see a lot of layouts, right, the third bedroom or the second bedroom facing the internal void area, usually that's the room that nobody wants. It's going to be the lowest rental if you rent out room by room, but this one looks very decent. Then again, aircon provider, you have that box up for wiring purposes. You have plug points by Schneider. That's nice. But just that I wish that this could be a bit lower, so it's a bit more friendly. Going in opposite to the second bedroom, this is then the one sharing the same view like the balcony. And what's nice will be this corner bit of the window that extends the perspectives. And the scale here is pretty similar, 2.6 by 3.4 meters, but it looks way grand because of the window panels. Last but not least, this will be the principal bedroom. And for this master bedroom, it's very nice in terms of size. Wall-to-wall distance is 3 meters, and you have a lot of plug points, which is very, very important in today's context. So I guess the bed will be facing here, and this will be the principal bathroom. And I like that almost the entire facade is actually windows, and you get a very nice view of TRX, Twin Towers, and etc., the KL skyline. But right in front of my town mall, that piece of land will be another brand new condo. So another important lesson here will be to take note of all possible empty lands surrounding your project that you are going to buy. So any moment of time when there's opportunity, the boom will be another new apartment, and that will hinder you in terms of access, competition for rental, and views. Then going in, this will be the principal bathroom where you have Johnson suites, basin, WC, bidet, shower screen. They have full height wall tiles, just that the owner here complained this is a little bit narrow. And the owner actually bought this freehold unit for 850,000. That was supposedly handed over last year. Technically 2021 should be the year where everyone get their keys, but due to the pandemic, it was extended to today, right, which is 2022. And to me, the layout, build quality looks okay, but this is one of the lower level floors. So maybe it was completed way before the pandemic, and the one that is going to be the poor quality ones, I think when people need to rush, right, will be the units at the higher floors as well as the common areas. And let's go check that out. Hey guys, we are now at the car park area, and most units comes with one car park, but during launch there were options to acquire car parks, which is extra on top of whatever that was given. Okay, so when you think about it, sometimes one car for a resident a bit hard, but there's always a rental way to get it if your tenants or yourself need it. Anyway, you have a flat slab system, which is nice, very tidy. Then you have epoxy paints for your pedestrians, and because of the shape of the site, you have openings on all sides, which is pretty bright and nice. Ceiling height is 2.9 meters, awesome. But just that this is a very weird design where once you come out, right, it's right to the road, and this is the main passageway for people to exit the car park. So these can be really dangerous. Once you open with your key, yeah, designers, please take note. So now we're in the lift lobby of the facilities there. On one end, this is an open area where you have tables. But what's stated here is the barbecue area. So I guess this is just the temporary measures before they install in the barbecue pits. This is a very weird thing. I don't understand why a grand staircase downwards. It looks good, just that when you think about safety, when you think about inclusiveness, then yeah. And coming down, if not mistaken, this is the jogging path, but you have a lot of spaces like this across the entire stretch of building, which I think is wasted. Then on the other side, this will be the railings that is as tall as me, which is around 1.6 meters. And you have glass railing. That's nice. So I think throughout the entire walk, right, the specification to materials is there. Just that in terms of execution. And at the end here, this will be a viewing deck. Well, they demarcate the space using the turf. And you can enjoy the skyline of KL, then you can enjoy the water sound of the infinity edge of the swimming pool. And you can still see a lot of empty lands lying around. The entire area of the water body is pretty extensive, and I like the different experience that you get within the water play itself. So you have some that is using the waterfall as a divider, also to provide different form of experience for users. That's nice. The pool color, jacuzzi area that's facing the KL skyline with the infinity edge, different feeling. Pretty diverse in terms of the experience range for users. On top of the water area, this will be a gym, which is nice, enjoying the vista of the water body. And at the edge, there will be the water play area for kids, and it's amazing. So there will be a nice little partition there for safety purposes, so the kids can really enjoy this entire area. Then you have some timber deck areas, some tile areas, some concrete areas. Then you have the kids play area. Also a very decorated basketball court. Wow! Then for safety purposes, for the children, they place the landscape around the perimeter of the facility so they won't go near it. And you will notice the perimeter landscape around this side is way heavier than the rest because it's supposed to provide you privacy away from the adjacent apartment. And this will be the drama part where there is supposedly to be another building between these two buildings, which is insane. Well, who am I to say? And that seems to be the active areas. This side seems to be the more quiet ones. And this is something interesting where there's this still water area adjacent to the units. So I think these units are for investment purposes, helped by the developer to rent out, I think. Because this is going to be a wonderful place to rent out in terms of experience wise. Right outside your window, you will have people swimming around, or you can just jump out from your own balcony from the unit, right? This is fun. But just that I think this is still incomplete and they're still doing some rectification works for the units here. But from the perspective of design intent, very cool. And personally, I like the outlines that are inorganic that forms the experience of the pedestrian using it. So you have an edge like this where you just chill and rest around while it controls your flow of circulation. And the same applies to the corner lots as well. Besides the basketball court, there is also a badminton court. Well, in total there will be 2 badminton courts, and in terms of flooring, you will have the timber flooring as well as the actual matte flooring. And in terms of daylight, I think it's not sufficient. There will be requirements of lights, but they are not placed in the center, so that's nice. And there will be some ventilation vents around, so that's cool. We are now upstairs, and this will be the gym, and we are floating above the swimming pool. There will be the treadmills, cycling machine here, and it's furnished by Vision Fitness. And the view here seems rather interesting because of the glass that is slanted, so that gives you a different form of experience when you look down. Equipment is pretty complete. You have the rowing machines, you have bicycles, you have the free weights area with the mirrors. And we have discussed about the dynamic range of experience by having 2-floor facility design, because you will have experience like this over the water body. Nice. And check out the ceiling design. You have the hexagonal polygon oriented design. Very, very interesting. Then under the residential block, because this is a transition space near the car parks and the residential towers, there's ample amount of space surrounding here. So I guess temporarily they just put in some furnitures to just 顶住先. But the good thing is all PAL, so in terms of maintenance is way easier, and they even put in the louvers to somewhat provide some shading when it's hot. Glass railing, nice. And this will be the site that we spoke about. So now it seems like it's abandoned, and you will have a temple there and some illegal housing squatters. As mentioned, this seems to be the main complaint for now, because since it's abandoned already, there's a lot of water body because of the rain, and that leads to mosquito problem that we see around the site right now. But talk about something good, right? I think the convenience to amenities here is excellent. Like within the internal roads, you can go to My Town, you can go IKEA, you can go Velocity Mall, you can go Aeon Mall. You have the conventional commercial areas there. Very cool. We go check that out later lah. This will then be the visitor car park for people who is using the retail space, and there will be a loading bay here, which is nice if you want to move stuff in. So there is also this component where the uncertainties of the commercial areas. So from the front door just now, we consider that Block A, Block B, Block C, that is deeper into the side, is actually connected to Aeon Mall. Wow! So for residents of Tower C, you walk down, right, you will have a retail component where you have escalator and all, and you can actually access over to Aeon. So is that the reason why the developer thought that the retail mall would work? Because people can just spill over here. But ultimately, right, it's really, really convenient. Just think about it. I stay here, walk down, and you have this nice little fountain here accompanying me at night. And there's a nice walkway shaded lagi going into Aeon Mall. And that also connects us to the commercial area already. So within walking distance to the right, because to the left you have the Jusco and the Velocity Mall, to the right you will come across this commercial area that is so freaking busy you can never get car parks. Even the slot to get a double parking, right, is already lucky. Here you can find several things. Commercial lots, of course, roadside stalls, mamas, consultant offices, but these buildings are old, so that's something to take note. Well, there's also a hotel. There is Hotel Maluri, some car service centers, restaurants, and banks, and yeah, so that's within walking distance. And I guess that's all for the review. It's now time for Sean's take 3 on 3. First thing that I really like, of course, will be the location. That is just so convenient. In terms of amenities and connectivity, like you are a junction or two away from TRX itself, and that is just next to Tun Razak, next to Puru and all. So if you are working within, right, it's really, really convenient. And if you were to live in Lavile itself, you are connected to Aeon Mall from Tower C itself, so you can just walk backwards. You have your own retail. Then if that's too fancy, right, too commercialized, you have these blocks and blocks of conventional shop offices where you have a lot of local food that is very nice. I had something just now. On top of that, you have the LRT connection as well. So you have the one in the Maluri station, or you can walk to the other one via the Sunway Velocity Mall. So it's just very connected and convenient. The second thing will be the design intent. When I walk in, the impression of commercial versus residential, I worry about the privacy, but the approach of having a very elaborated lobby for each tower. So tower A, A1, A2 got one, B and C also got their very own lift lobby, and right in front of the lift lobby will be the security counter where the security guard sits. So that gives a very good feeling of security and partition away from the public. Then when you go into the facility stack, the water play and the design around the water area, I think it's very nice. First you have the edge that is closer to the infinity edge where it's a different experience and it's shaded, so it's nice. And then if you go to the other side, you have a water curtain connecting you to the water play area where you can connect with your kids, then they can have fun there. And there's a separate component that we visited just now where I think it was for investment. Apparently I'm right. So the owners actually shared with me that these are designed for owners to bring in their relatives or friends for a night stay. So you can actually rent those towers out. So it can also be a form of revenue for the JMB. That's cool. Then in similar design language, the gym structure is very elaborated. It's floating up and they have the slanted glass outwards. Then at the lift lobbies at residential towers, they have this nook of open area. Technically, you don't have to provide such a space, you don't have to provide a corridor that is so wide, but they did. So the entire experience into the unit itself is very well done. And it's also about the little things, like you look into the shades between the tower C into the mall is glass roof with timber louvers, not some easy aluminium shade or whatsoever. So throughout the entire facilities deck, you have all this landscape area, you have glass canopies again with metal louvers. From the very start, you have the glass bridge. It's a bit slippery, but the design intent, the feeling of going past it is very nice. Then within the unit itself also, you will have the kitchen door that has a window opening at the top and at the side as well. It could have easily been just solid, right? And it saves us cost, but the developer still choose to add in more window panels for daylight to penetrate into the space. And last of all would be the commitment of the developer. So when I spoke to the owner, so they shared stories about how the developer came together in trying to lodge a case for the adjacent project. So now after handover, right, there are some unhappy and unsatisfied customers because of the pandemic. So some units really need to rush out, common areas are still empty during handover. A lot of people are not very happy because they put in a lot of money, right? So 850,000 for a freehold unit like that, they think that it should be way better. But in my opinion, the fact that the developer is still doing their best in providing things that they are not supposed to, like a lot of common areas things, right? It's not within the SPA and it's a very vague position on who's right and who's wrong. So thinking from the perspective of the developer, they went through a pandemic where labor cost is high, material cost is high. They still have this deadline in trying to hand over the unit to all customers, and the fact that they are still doing so under the main brand. So I think they are trying really hard. But because this particular unit that we visited is within the low floor, so it got completed before the lockdown. I guess the suffering ones will be the one on the upper floors as well as the common areas, because these are the areas usually are done the last. Then for the three things I don't like, number one will be the micro elements of the site. The first one will be the school right in front that will cause congestion during school hours. And the next one will be the level of infrastructure that is so narrow in terms of road in front of the project. Then the adjacent block that was supposed to be gazetted as road, then suddenly got translated into a developable land that people build apartment, and it really sucks that it's abandoned like that right now. So there's a problem of mosquitoes around the building right now. Like throughout the visit, there's been bites here and there. It's beyond the jurisdiction of the developer and there's nothing much they can do about it. Then the second thing will be the immediate competition if you are doing it for rental. So like just within a stone throw away and you draw a radius around it, right? easily there's going to be 10,000, 15, 20,000 units of apartments within that location itself. And from a third person point of view, we think that, wow, it's going to be so packed, there's going to be so many people, right? But from a local Cheras person, this is a decision made as their own stay. I would totally buy this as an investment unit. If you look into the property portals, fully furnished unit is going for around 3,000 to 3,600. So if you think about 800 over 1,000 when you buy, it kind of makes sense. But a lot of people actually buy for own stay, which is, and last of all, I would blame it on the timing. Well, they went through lockdown, so it causes a lot of delay. And I spoke to many developers about it. If they have their own construction arm, it's still fine, but if you are engaging a third party once, right, it's going to be pretty dramatic because everything shot up in price, but you still have a deadline. So the only way to go about it is when the government extends the period of construction and handover. So all units are delayed for a year, and as mentioned, the upper floor units will suffer a little bit, common areas will suffer a little bit. Well, this is where I kind of separated the whole building into two schemes. One will be design intent, one will be the execution of them, which is the construction. So if you look into design intent, right, like the specified materials, the treatments of common areas, and the little nooks of design elements here and there, and design treatments for lobby and common areas, the pool experience and structure, landscape treatments, all those reflects the initial design intent. But once after lockdown, right, everything got squeezed and there's nothing much left to play. I think the game to play now is only to not make too much losses for the developer. Well, as an owner, I also understand that it's our hard-earned money, right? I put into your project because I trusted you. So it's a debate, really. So owners totally have the right to complain, totally have the right to give the developer a hard time in order to deliver out. But looking at it, I think what the developer needs is just time, right? Like they are now still having a lot of people on site working on the design. And I guess that's all for this episode. So the learning points from this episode, a lot. Number one is to take notice of all empty lands adjacent to the project that you're going to buy, because even a road can turn into a high-rise building. Drama, right? Which is exactly like this site now. There's still a lot of different empty lands around the project, so that's something to take note. The second thing will be this period of handover. There will be a lot of frustrated customers, and I seriously don't know how to go about it because it's nevertheless still our money, right? Well, shout out to the owners again. Thank you very much for taking leave and showing us the unit, and I'm just so grateful. So if you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao!